Hey guys, welcome back to my small engine repair channel. Today I'm going to show you how to replace the drive belt on your YARDWORKS snowblower. YARDWORKS is a Canadian brand which you can buy at Canadian Tire here in Canada. However, a lot of snowblowers made by MTD are branded differently, but still use the same parts. Before I start replacing the belt, I'm just going to tell you a few symptoms of a broken or damaged drive belt. If your snowblower doesn't want to go in forward or reverse, that is a symptom that your belt may be damaged or broken. Also, if you smell rubber coming from the inside where the belts are, then also that could be a symptom that your belt is damaged as well. Now, even though your blower may go in forward and reverse, if it meets any resistance and the wheels stop turning, that's another symptom that the belt needs to be replaced. And by the way, the drive belt is located under this plastic cover over here. So what I'm going to do is take this cover off. All I have to do is take off 2 3/8 bolts. There's one on this side and there's one over here on the other side. I'm just going to reach down with a 3/8 nut driver and remove it. And I'll do the same for the bolt on this side. Once the 2 bolts are off, just reach down and remove the plastic cover. And I can already see the damaged drive belt, which is just hanging in there. And here it is. This is the auger belt, by the way. So just pull on the belt. It's actually come off the pulley at the bottom. Now at this point, remove the spark plug boot from the spark plug. This is to prevent the engine from starting when you turn it over to remove the auger belt. The auger belt needs to be removed for me to be able to remove this belt and reinstall the new one. You can always snip the old belt if you want, but ultimately you're going to have to remove the auger belt to put the new one back on. What I'm going to do now is just bring the auger belt above the pulley like this. I'm going to try to take it off by hand if I can. If it gets too tight, I'm going to pull over the starter handle. While holding the auger belt now, I'm going to grab the starter handle and turn the engine over a bit. And now you'll see the auger belt come right off the pulley. I'm just going to leave the auger belt on the side like this for now, and I'm going to pull out the old drive belt. And if we look at this belt closely, you can see it's in real bad shape. It's a pretty small belt, even when it's not all broken up like this. And here you can see the part number 7540488. This is the belt I'm going to need to get. So it's the next day and I've got my new belt. And again, here's the part number 7540488. I'm going to put a direct link under this video to where you can purchase one online. So now I'm going to start reinstalling the belt. And to do this, grab your new belt, push the auger belt forward, slide the new drive belt over here. And now what you need to do is push the drive belt behind the pulley over here toward the engine and between the body of the snowblower, and push it in as far as you can for now. Now I'm going to need the snowblower tipped up on its front housing. Before you do this, you can drain the fuel from your gas tank. Make sure the oil cap is on nice and tight. If your fuel tank is only half full, it will not leak. If it goes over the fuel cap once it's tipped over, it may leak. If my fuel tank's too full sometimes, to prevent a leak, what I do is put a plastic bag over the hole here and then screw the cap on top, and this will prevent a leak. I don't need it today because my fuel tank is only half full, so I'm going to take it off. But you may want to keep this in mind when you do this job. Also, you may want to put a piece of cardboard on the floor in case you get any oil or gas that may leak on your floor. Once you have your snowblower tipped up like this, what you need to do is remove the belly pan. And there's 4 3/8 bolts holding it on, 2 up top and 2 right here. Once the 4 bolts are off, the belly pan will come out just by sliding it out. So here's the inside of the gearbox. You can see the belt that I slid in earlier. I may have been able to put the belt on without taking the belly pan off, but sometimes it's better to take it off so you know exactly where the belt is. Sometimes there's little things like this that may be in the way of putting the belt on properly when you do it from the top. And the belt also has to go between the drive wheel and the drive disc, just like this. So sometimes it may be hard to do this from the top. So now you just want to get it all around the pulley. And that's good. And now you want to make sure that the drive belt is still properly in its position over here. And just a quick tip, while you have the belly pan off, it's a good time to grease all your gears and the sliding shaft over here. Use lithium grease on this shaft, and you can use some white grease or general purpose grease or low temp grease on the gears. Don't put too much because you don't want the grease to end up on the drive wheel over here. If you get grease on here, your snowblower may not go forward or reverse anymore because it's just going to slip. And now it's time to put the belly pan back on. You want to put this slip here at the bottom of the pan on each side, inside the groove over here. And it's the same on this side too. And then bring the pan up. And when you bring the pan up, you want to slide it underneath here. Make sure the cable is in this groove. And now reinstall the bolts. And to tighten up the bolts, I'm going to use a nut driver. Make sure to not over tighten these bolts because they can strip easy. It only bolts into thin metal. So now you want to come from the top, check your belt, make sure it's on the pulley, pull on it like this. Once it's tight like that, you know it's nice and secure on the pulley underneath. You don't want it to come off the pulley. If you're scared it might come off the pulley, then don't put the belly pan on until you're all done the job. Now what you want to do is grab the belt tension over here and move it toward you, which will be facing toward the fuel tank. And what you need to do is put the front part of the pulley behind the belt. So it's a bit tight. It may take a few tries, but just push it back and then put the belt just like this. Make sure it's on the pulley at the bottom. Here's what it looks like up close. And this is what it looks like from the other side. And now you can proceed to reinstall the auger belt on the pulley. Now I'm going to pull on the rewind to turn the engine over a bit. And now you're going to see the belt go on the pulley. So I'll just show you the belts again quickly so you make sure you have them on correctly. Here's the drive belt again, and here's the auger belt. Now I'm going to start it up and try out the drive. If you start up your machine in your garage, make sure you have good ventilation. And before I can do this, I'm going to have to reconnect the spark plug boot. Also, I want to let you know that it's normal for the drive belt to always be spinning. The auger belt will sit here idle until you depress the auger lever. It will only spin when you're blowing snow, as opposed to the drive belt always spinning. By the way, if you need to replace the auger belt, it's part number 754-04050. I'm also going to put a direct link to where you can buy it online underneath this video. Now all that's left to do is to reinstall the belt cover. To do this, just insert it over here. I want to slide it between the auger chute and the engine just like this. Don't pry it too hard, you don't want to break it. And now you have a bolt that goes over here. And I'm using a 3/8 nut driver to put it back on. I'm not going to over tighten it because the threads can easily strip. And the very last bolt of the operation is right here. So that's all there is to replacing the drive belt on this model of snowblower here. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, a lot of snowblowers will have the same belt even though they may be branded differently. So always have safety in mind when you work on your snowblower. Thanks for watching guys, and you'll see me next time.